Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna. This is my mom, Gina.
He's a journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
I am enthusiastic about finishing the show before we get rained on.
Yes, as you know, we do our show outside. And we are on our deck, obviously, every single day. And when we do the show, and we have to deal with all sorts of weather. And right now, we look like we're going to get rained on. Yes, so we will try to do our show here very quickly. Today we're going to talk about the Big 12 tournament taking place here
in Kansas City.
And as Mom's got her Big 12 hat on, representing K-State, I've got my K-State shirt on, and today is Throwback Thursday, which is why
we're wearing our old stuff.
Our old Kansas State shirt. This is one of my first Kansas State shirts I ever got while I was at school. That was one of the first shirts that you got, and you're repping the old Big 12 symbol.
Old Big 12 symbol. This was when Nebraska was still in the Big 12.
Still awesome. And so, yes, it's very fitting for what we're talking about today, which is the Big 12 men's basketball tournament down at the Sprint Center, downtown Kansas City. It is very fun, very festive. It's just an amazing atmosphere for everyone that takes place down there in downtown.
And listen, we're like the Chamber of Commerce for Kansas City.
Man.
But it's serious. It's a great city. Come visit.
Great city. We love it. And so we're going to talk about some of our favorite teams, but we'll talk about the first round that took place yesterday between Texas and Texas Tech, TCU and Oklahoma. Now, TCU looked pretty good against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's just having a down year, and that happens.
It's like Buddy Hield graduated, and they were just like, what do we do now?
Nobody left, exactly. So they'll get it together going on next
they're a good program. They'll be fine.
Struggling this year. But the big shocker to start the tournament really was Texas being Texas Tech. And so I thought that was a surprise to me. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Listen, it was a surprise to everybody, but Shaka Smart. Shaka knows he knows he's got something going.
Coaches where he get him in there, he's dangerous, and he knows how to win.
You said something. Shaka is a tournament guy.
Yes.
And I know that Texas doesn't want to just be a tournament team, a team that just wins at the last second. But Shaka knows how to get these guys ready, game time. And let's be clear, some of his losses have been very close this year. The Big 12 is competitive, very competitive.
Yes.
And he's got to get a chance to get his guys in there. So at the end of the day, everybody was counting Texas as a first-round bounce, and they handled business last night.
Well, let's quickly talk about the favorite for this tournament and really moving forward. Let's talk about KU, because KU has won 13 consecutive Big 12 overall conference championships. They did not win the tournament last year. Iowa State won the tournament last year, and Iowa State has kind of been their Achilles heel when it comes to Big 12 basketball play. But KU is dealing with some off-the-court issues right now, which may hinder them moving forward from not just the Big 12 tournament, but potentially into the actual NCAA tournament. And we kind of need to bring this up because KU needs to be looked at a little bit as far as what's going on right now. You want to bring up some of the things
I'm going to give you the brief rundown. You can Google this story, but basically there was an altercation between a female Kansas basketball player who had dated one of the male
basketball players.
She's a current basketball player, but she was dating one of the current male basketball players. They had a very tumultuous relationship. There was accusations of him physically abusing her. Well, then she ends up at a club where he's at with some of his other basketball buddies. And she ends up, throwing a drink on him. I'm guessing there's a verbal altercation. She throws a drink on him. She goes to leave. He doesn't chase her. His buddy, what's the boy's name?
Josh Jackson.
Josh Jackson chases her outside. They're hollering, screaming. She gets in her car. He apparently, this is all allegedly, but it is reported that he kicked in her door, and she's got a dent in her door. He kicked in her tail light, and he smashed her windshield. And apparently this is damage that's documented that he did. She drove off, and the problem was she's the one that got suspended. She initially got suspended from the team, wasn't going to be allowed to go to Allen Fieldhouse for workouts, couldn't even watch film. Her dad called up there and said, what's going on? So then they rescinded her suspension, let her dress out for the very next game, but she sat there and didn't play at all. And she was one of their leading scorers, leading in minutes, and now she's down to playing, minimal minutes. Her scoring has gone down. And so here's the thing. One of the male players assaulted her car, but she's the one in trouble. And the answer that was given was, well, what she did was public and what he did was in private. I don't even understand that because he publicly kicked in her door. But the important part of this is who it was, because it's Josh Jackson. And what's going on? He's not playing today, but not even because of this.
Exactly. He's not playing. He's suspended for their first game of this tournament due to the fact that he actually hit a car and he was driving a vehicle. he backed into a car, it messed up their vehicle, and drove off without leaving their information. Well, people knew it was him that did it, and he didn't report it. He didn't tell anybody after it happened. He told Bill Self this past Monday that it occurred. And so now they have to do something. So they said, well, we'll hold you out of the first round of the Big 12 tournament.
And I think that's really arrogant because they feel like the first round is just something, well, we're just going to sneak past you. Well, guess who they got in the first round?
Well, they've got TCU.
They got TCU.
And TCU is an extremely scrappy school this year, and they're playing really well.
They are, and they played KU really hard.
Yes.
Really, and we are not KU haters. We love every team in the Big 12, and especially tournament time. KU gives us, as a conference, the best chance to win. So I'm rooting for KU, but you got to get your house in order, man.
Right.
And you know, I'm not wishing any ill will on them. I want the best teams to win, but A, you got to play now without Josh, and B, TCU has got something for everybody. I really think so. I don't feel like they blew everything out of the water yesterday.
Well, and I think the thing for KU is this is just another example of big-time schools handling their players in bad situations under the rug or under the table or in-house. And it's just another example of how schools or universities handle their sports programs.
But let me say this, and it's going to probably sound horrible, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I am totally fine with the school disciplining their players and their athletes, because part of what the coaches do when they recruit you is say, I've got your kid, your son or your daughter. I'm responsible. So I don't have a problem with them internally handling their discipline. I have a problem with it not being equal, and I have a problem with it once it's out in public. This just looks like a black eye to a really good program.
And on top of that, they've had other issues with some of their other star players as well. Carlton Bragg has been suspended twice this year for other incidences that have put them in trouble. And so KU right now has other distractions to deal with. Instead of just going into the tournament saying, hey, we're laser focused, we've got to just do what we do on a daily basis. They've got to handle all the questions about Josh Jackson and what has happened with him on multiple different occasions. They've got other players that have had suspect past recently. And so they've got things that they've got to handle off the court instead of just handling things on the court.
And let's be clear, whether they win the Big 12 tournament or not, they're going to the dance. They're probably going to go as a #1 seed. So these questions are going to keep coming up.
Yes.
All right, well, let's real quick go down the rest of the Big 12 bracket.
Yes.
So you've got KU playing Texas Tech. TCU. I'm sorry. There's too many Texases in the conference.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So who are you predicting?
Well, I'm still going to go with KU because I just think they just have so much going on. I think they're a better team overall.
I will also go with KU.
Yes, exactly.
Then you have West Virginia.
Yes.
Taking on.
I believe it's Texas.
It's Texas.
And so you have West Virginia and Texas. You have K-State and Baylor, and then you still have Iowa State taking on Oklahoma State. So those are the matchups for right now, and we will see what happens as we move forward.
You don't want to call any predictions on those?
I don't, because I just feel like it's going to be tough. But I mean, I would love to see K-State beat Baylor. K-State needs that win. They've already beat them once this year.
And everybody's calling them a bubble team, which I think is ridiculous. They should be in.
We'll see what happens there. Oklahoma State and Iowa State, it's going to be a tough game. I think Iowa State probably will get that one.
I think so too.
And then obviously you have West Virginia and Texas. Both play that press type of defense, and so it'll be a good back and forth, but West Virginia is playing really good right now.
I'm going to call Texas in the upset on that. Yeah. I think West Virginia is probably right now the better overall team, but I think Shaka gets his guys ready for tournament time, so I'm going to go with Texas on that.
Okay, going the upset there?
Yeah, I'm going for the upset there because West Virginia is going to the dance either way, and I just would like to see it.
I would too.
I agree with you. I think Iowa State's going to win. I think K-State's going to have their hands completely full with Baylor. Baylor is really, really good this year.
They are.
And I love my Wildcats, but I think we've got some issues in that basketball program. And I don't know if they need to go get some more thugs and Rough Riders like KU's got. I don't know. But I just know that they're going to have a rough day. And unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to call Baylor on that one. And then, you know, I think KU probably, if they get past the round today against TCU, I think you're going to see KU come out of this tournament.
Yeah, I just think KU, you'll probably see a variation of KU, West Virginia, and Iowa State.
I'd love to see Iowa State get it again, but, you know,
Iowa State plays very well at Sprint Center. They travel very well. I think Baylor, if they get past K-State, K-State's going to give them a lot, so I think their legs might be, you know, all of those teams KU, West Virginia, Baylor, Iowa State are all going to the dance. So it's just about who kind of does the best out of this initial round here.
Right.
So
well, I want to see I want to see 5 teams from the Big 12 go, which everybody thinks it is, but I really like to see that 6th team be K-State. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. Hopefully they come out on top.
Yeah. Selection Sunday, so we'll know. Next time you guys see us, we'll know.
Well, we want to say we appreciate your time, folks.
Come visit us in Kansas City.
We're doing it on YouTube. And subscribe to our YouTube channel and type in OTD on Facebook and continue to follow us on Twitter. We appreciate your time and thanks for watching, folks.